Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Module 1 of your training here at Stella Homes. This is Rick, your singing wealth coach, and we're going to be talking about how to become the CEO of you. That's right. That's right. The very first module, we're going to be discussing how do you get organized? How do you create an atmosphere and an environment where you can follow up on what you need to do? You see, people are chronic procrastinators. So, my question to you is, are you smoking the chronic, the chronic procrastination it is. Some of my older friends are like, "What are you talking about, Rick? Chronic? That's another word for weed, man." Okay, people who smoke weed, they call it chronic. I guess that's even kind of old. All right. So anyway, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna figure out how to become the CEO of you. And this exercise that we're gonna do, I learned it from Darren Hardy, one of my major mentors, and he talked about how he was at a party with a friend of his who owns the largest port of yachts in the world. The largest port of yachts in the world is owned by Kevin Issachar. Kevin Issachar invited Darren to a party, and the gentleman who owned this particular yacht, his name was Conrad. They affectionately referred to him as Connie. Connie had a company that was worth over $3 billion, and he was 94 years old, but he was shining like he was a 45-year-old man, invigorated, full of life. And Darren Hardy said, "Man, you are glowing. What is the deal?" So Connie said, "Man, I really don't like talking about you, talking about myself." Darren said, "Please do. That's what we do at Success Magazine. We interview people around the world who are doing it, and we make sure that other people find out what they're doing and how they might be able to improve their lives." So Connie told him, "Listen, well, I had to take over my company recently." Darren said, "Is that so?" Uh, uh, I'm sorry. I thought this thing was blinking. I thought it stopped. So Darren said, "Is that so?" He said, "Yes." He said, I took over my company recently from my son." He said, "I had to let him go." So Darren said, "You fired your own son?" He said, "Yeah, man." He said, "How old is your son?" He said, "My son is 71 years old." He said, "You fired your 71-year-old son?" He said, "Yeah, because he lost my values." He said, "But if I had taught him what I'm getting ready to teach you, I don't think that would have happened. So what I need you to do, let's get your sheet of paper out, and I'm going to make it very simple to you how to write out a week, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to actually execute a week. Remember that without execution, your life is a complete waste, all right? People tell me they know how to buy and sell real estate. I said, "So how many deals have you done?" They said, "I haven't done any, but I know how to do it." I said, "You don't know nothing, man. You ain't did a deal yet. You just know about some stuff. You just know about what you heard, but if you haven't executed it, you don't know. You only know what you execute, all right? In other words, it's only head knowledge. So let's go. So here's how, this is what Conrad told him to do. He said, take out a sheet of paper and draw a line down the middle of it, okay? At the very top of your paper, he told him to write "My divine purpose," okay? So at the top of the paper, you have the reason why you're getting ready to do everything you're getting ready to do, all right? And in these four quadrants, you have four different things that you need to fill up. All right. In the first quadrant, you need to write down what your spiritual goals are for the week. In this quadrant, what your financial goals are for the week. In this quadrant, what your personal goals are. And then this quadrant, the distractions that you're going to get rid of in your life that are causing you grief. Okay. All right. Now we're going to talk about this before we go into anything else about real estate. Next week, you get another module and we start going into the actual ideas of real estate as a business. But right now, let's talk about how you become the CEO of you. How do you get control over your life, baby? All right. Because 9 out of 10 of the people I meet, their lives are out of control. They don't have an organized way, a regimented way of doing anything. So that means that whatever comes up for the week, it just automatically becomes their agenda. Is that you? Have you been living your life where your agenda is the agenda of other people? Let me tell you something, baby. Don't let other people's urgencies become your emergency. And the best way to be able to avoid that is to have a plan. Already have planned out what you're going to do for the entire week. And this sheet of paper right here will help you be able to plan out your life because you are a human being. Okay, you are not just a businessman or a businesswoman. You are a human being, and it is imperative that you have planned out what you're going to do for the week so that everybody else won't make their plans become yours. So let's go back into these four quadrants again. Number one, your spiritual goals for the week. Number two, your financial goals for the week. Number three, your personal goals for the week. And number four, the distractions that you're going to get rid of that are holding you back. Okay? So the very first thing I want us to talk about is distractions. this fourth quadrant over here. The number one thing that I find out with people is that people don't have focus. The reason it's hard for people to close these real estate deals when they sign up for all these different programs and all this sort of a thing is because they don't follow up on nothing. They don't have any focus. They don't have a set, regimented way of doing things. And it shows up in your life. When you tell me, Ricky, I am organized, Ricky, I am regimented, Ricky, I do have a set way of doing things, I say, well, I'm looking at your bank account, and that doesn't add up because your money that you make is directly correlated or tied to your ability to be able to see a thing through to the end and your ability to be able to do tasks and get them done in a timely manner. All right. So the first thing I want you to do is consider this. I want you to count from 1 to 10 as fast as you can in your head. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. All right. Very good. Now, I want you to go from A to J in your head as fast as you can. Okay. Go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Well, that was a bonus one if you gave me K. All right. So I gave you 2 things to do. They were real simple to do, and you did them both in a matter of seconds without thinking about it. Now I want you to go from 1 to 10 and A to J back and forth until you get to J. For example, 1A, 2B, 3C. All right, I'm listening to you. I'm listening. 4D, 5, E, 6. You're getting confused, ain't you? That's because you're trying to do 2 things at one time. So the very first thing I want you to write down over here in distractions is multitasking. Write it in, okay? Write it in your notes, multitasking. All right. That's the very first thing. Stop trying to do 2 things at the same time because all you're doing is your mind is switching back and forth. Some people can switch a little better than others, but nobody can do it perfectly. And it's a task that's absolutely not worth doing. So this is what I want you to write in your notes as you do this exercise. All right. I want you to write this down. Peter Drucker said this, and he's the and he runs Merrill Lynch, been the CEO of Merrill Lynch for years. He said, "There's nothing more fruitless than doing something really good that you shouldn't be doing at all." So stop trying to do 2 things at the same time and bragging about the fact that you can do it good. Baby, somebody can do something better than you. And this is the idea of how do you become the CEO of you. In order to be a CEO, in order to be an entrepreneur, you have got to stop trying to be the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker and doing everything on your own. All right? Delegate what it is that you don't do well and make sure that somebody else is doing it. And once you learn a little bit of something, make sure you train somebody else on how to do that thing, and then you move on to the next idea. So as we go through these real estate courses, and the idea of you being organized is going to be imperative. So stop trying to do 2 things at the same time. Now, the next thing that you're going to have to do to make sure that this exercise works every week is you're going to have a daily planner and a journal. All right. So all I do, my life is very simple. This is what I do. Every day, I have written on this side of my notebook, daily plan. So open you up a notebook, okay? And write on the back of the first sheet in your notebook, daily plan. On this side, I have daily journal. All right? On the left side, daily plan. On the right side, daily journal. Okay? All right. On the left side, daily plan. On the right side, daily journal. On the left side, write down everything that you're going to do, everything that you intend to do for this particular day. Start from the morning all the way to the evening by the hour. On the right side, on your journal, write in what you actually did. At the end of the week, you'll be able to tell yourself what I said I was going to do and what I actually spent my time on. If you broke, if you got a problem having some money, it's a direct correlation between your time and whether you're spending it wisely or prudently. Most people will budget that, or some people I should say, will budget their money, but very few people budget their time. They don't even know what they're doing with their time. They have no idea because they're not writing it down. So this exercise by itself will allow you to start this real estate game with some type of organization, with some type of regimented way of doing things, because you'll know if you're getting your goals fulfilled. So let's go back to your sheet now. And I'm moving fast, okay? Because this class is for people that's ready to get down. So you can rewind whatever you don't get, but I got to move fast. All right, so here we go. So go back to your sheet in these 4 areas and let's start filling in the things that you want to do this week so that you can transfer them over to your daily activities. I have a few things that I recommend to everybody because the way we do business around here, the way our culture and everything that we have with Stella Homes, with Stella Real Estate Academy, our culture is that we do things to help other people. All right. The reason that we even want money and even got a goal to even accumulate money and all that sort of a thing is to pass it on to our heirs and to be able to help people outside of our families. That's our MO. That's how we get down. Okay. So I want to encourage you to have some of the if you embrace this culture, you'll be successful as well. All right. So the first thing that we put over in our spiritual section every week is we want to know is we plan on who we're going to feed, who we're going to clothe, and who we're going to visit that's either locked up or sick. I got this from Matthew, the 25th chapter, and that's how I live my life, and this is the culture that we created with Stellar Real Estate Academy. So who am I going to feed, who am I going to clothe, and who am I going to visit that's sick or locked up? I put that down every week. I recommend that you do the same thing. The other thing that we do every week is we figure out, we get us a Bible chapter that we really like, and then we memorize that whole chapter. We memorize it 5 verses at a time. I do this every week. So part of my regimen every week, and part of our regimen as a group of people every week, is that we get up in the morning and we study our scriptures before we start talking to people. My recommendation to you is that if you want to be highly successful in life, learn the Bible, okay? Learn you some scriptures. Get them subliminally in your mind. When people step to me every day, I don't care who they are. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much prestige you got. It means zero to me, okay? What means something to me is what kind of values do you have? All right? Are you interested in helping somebody? If you don't want to feed nobody, clothe nobody, or check out nobody that's sick or locked up the way that Jesus taught us to, if that's not important to you, then that's your personal business, but that's important to me. All right. So that's how I roll every week, and that's how I recommend. That's what I recommend to everybody else. You say, I'm not interested in that, Rick. We'll get you another coach. Okay. All right. That's what you can do. I don't need that. Whatever you signed up for, ask for a refund if you don't want to, if you don't like the idea of helping people. Okay. Because that's how we roll around here. We help people. That's what we get about the bed for. And I want to encourage you to stop being so doggone stingy. So if you're wondering why you ain't got no money, it's a direct correlation between your giving. I'm not just talking about your tithing at church. That's cool too. But I'm talking about the idea of how you giving your time. Who are you helping? All right? If you're not interested in helping people, I'm telling you, cursing yourself right now because you're violating principles. All right? I live a very blessed, very anointed life. The people I run into and meet on a daily basis will blow your mind. In fact, one of the reasons why you're even able to get these courses right now is because of one of my recent meetings that I had down in Nashville, Tennessee, learning how to put this stuff online so that you guys can learn what I teach people around the country. I learned how to put this stuff online with a young man that I met, a young man named Chin, who's called the Millionaire Barber. And Chin helps people all around the country open up barber schools and everything. He's a young man who had his own challenges coming out of prison and didn't have a job and had a felony record. And he was nobody wanted to hire him, and they was treating him like a little peon and stuff. And he decided to go into business for himself. He got a mentor, and a lady helped him and showed him how to open up his own barber colleges. And he was able to open up several of them and able to make millions of dollars. And then he was able to train people around the country on how to open up theirs. And he teaches people online how to do things, and we collaborate together to be able to. And the way that I met this gentleman was I was at a meeting down in Nashville with the great Russell Brunson teaching us how to do online courses. And he taught me how to put my stuff online that I've been trying to do for 3 or 4 years. We had a meeting in 3 hours that was able to help me to be able to do what I'm teaching, how to be able to go online so I can teach you guys. He helped me in 3 hours do what I've been trying to do for 3 years. And because we both believe in giving, we both love God, and we both believe in helping the next person that needs some help, because we've both been in trouble. So we're very unpretentious, and we don't care what people think about us. We're concerned about people's lives. And I'm telling you right now, if you start giving to a fault, then God will bless you immensely. Find somebody that's in trouble and help them out, all right? If you're not in trouble, if you're not sick, praise God you ain't sick, and find somebody who is. If you ain't locked up, praise God you ain't locked up, and write to somebody and help somebody else who is. If you're not, if you got clothes on your back, go in that closet and pull some of that stuff out and give it to people who don't have any clothes. Get a culture in your life that's going to where you living beyond just what's going on with you. And I'm telling you, you get great clarity of mind and great support when you get ready to go try to help when it comes down to you being helped personally. All right, that's my recommendations in your spiritual section. Now let's move on to your financial section up here. All right, the first thing that you want to do is determine how much money do you want to make over the next 12 months. You're going to get 12 months worth of modules from me. And by the 12th month, this is the first time we're talking to each other. So about a 12th month, you should have a significant amount of deposits that have gone into your bank account. So my question becomes, how much money do you want to make over the next 12 months? Now, I'm amazed at people. They tell me what they don't want all the time. But when I ask the person, what do they want? they get sheepish and they don't know. Let me tell you something. You better get deliberate about what you want. Okay. Now, however much money it is that you want to make, you take that same amount of money and you divide it by 50 weeks, and that'll tell you how much money you want to make every week. Now, whatever your goal is, that's your goal. But I do want to encourage you, don't make some little itty bitty mosquito bite goal. Make a goal that's worth going after. All right. And I would recommend that the goal never be less than $1,000,000. Because if you fall 10%, 90% short of $1,000,000, you'll still make 100,000. But if you fall 90% short of 100,000, you won't make nothing but $10,000. So my recommendation is that you never have a goal of less than $1,000,000. So in that example, 1,000,000 divided by right here. So 1,000,000 divided by 50 weeks would come out to about $20,000 a week. So you put down what your goal is, all right, and make sure that it's a goal that makes you cringe when you think about it. Make sure it makes your stomach hurt when you think about it. Stop accepting goals, these little mosquito bite goals, and making small goals. The devil is so evil in your head until when you get ready to make a goal, he try to scare you out of your own goal and try to tell you how much you got the audacity to make a goal. Let me tell you something, and you know it's the devil, that it ain't God talking to you. When in your head you say to yourself, I just want to make a realistic goal. Well, realistic based on what? All right. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and all of them that dwell therein. You know, he said, the cattle on 1,000 hills belong to me. If I was hungry, I wouldn't tell you about it. The Bible says, hast thou not known, hast thou not heard of the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth, that he fainteth not, neither is weary. There's no searching of his understanding, and his ways are past finding out. Don't you know that? Don't the Bible say he too high to get over, too low to get up under, too wide to go around? Don't you know that there's no limit to what God can do for a person, and if to a believer, to somebody that believes something? So you don't really have to worry about people talking you out of too many things, because you're so good at talking yourself out of stuff. So don't make no little itty bitty goals. Okay, kick that stuff to the curb. Come up with a different kind of attitude about yourself. You can get encouraged when you watch these videos every week about how to do different things, and when you see how I went from nothing to the ability to be able to do the things I'm able to do, then you'll know that it was based on belief. And your belief system is totally how you make your goals. So don't set small goals, and don't let the devil tell you to set small goals, and don't let devilish minded people tell you to set small goals. If they tell you that you're a fool, you ain't got good sense, that'll never happen, just consider the source. Why are you taking broke people's advice? They can't put cheese on a Whopper. What in the world are they doing up in your grill telling you what to do? Ignore them, okay? All right? And pay attention to people who have means and all this sort of thing, and reach higher than wherever you are, and get around some people that can make you feel, who can increase your knowledge and sharpen you up and all that sort of a thing, like you're doing right now. Play this video every time you're thinking about making a small goal. And remember Brother Rick, who came out of the penitentiary with $50 in a hotel room and was trying to figure out where he was going to live at and all that sort of a thing. But he made his goals big, and he's able to do business internationally now. And there's no limits to the business that I do. And there's no limits to the business you can do too, because there's no limit to my God. And there's no limit to your God either, if you believe in a living God. So that's how we roll around here. So that's my suggestion to you. Make a goal worth going after, and then divide your goal, your annual amount that you want to make, by 50, and that'll show you how much you need to be making every week. All right. So that's all I want you to do for right now. It's two things that you're going to have for these goals to make sense. You're going to have to develop a system, and you're going to have to continue to be coached. So since you signed up for these modules, you're going to have a system, and you're going to continue to be coached. Right now, don't worry about everything else you got to fill in over here, because that will come week by week, how you start filling in what your goals are. Let's move on over to your personal goals down here. All right? So figure out, first of all, what are you going to do for your mind every week? What are you going to engage in, and what are you going to study outside of the Bible? What kind of books are you going to study that are relevant to marketing, relevant to mindset, to how to do business today, so that you can draw business to you and stop begging people to do business with you? How do you become a valuable man? How do you become a valuable woman, so that when you roll up on people, they'll beg you to do business with them, beg you to accept their money, happy to do business with you because you bring value, okay? If you bring value with you, you're welcome just about everywhere you go. People who don't appreciate a valuable person, they can kick rocks with their socks, and they can get in the wind like a funky breeze, okay? If they don't appreciate your value, don't try to convince nobody against their will to do nothing. Just become valuable, and people will pursue you because they need you, all right? So the first book that I recommend everybody to get if you haven't read this book already is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, the same gentleman who taught me this training that you're learning right now. Okay, The Compound Effect. It talks about how to do things consistently. Darren Hardy was worth 27, his company's worth 50 million by the time he was 27 years old. Darren was raised by his father because his mother abandoned him. His father taught him regimens from the time he was a little boy. He said, by the time I was 12 years old, I had regimens that was better than most CEOs. All right. So a lot of what you're hearing right now are the words of the great Darren Hardy being trained through Brother Ricky Williams right here. Right. That's a lot of what you're hearing right now because everybody needs mentors. Darren's mentor was Jim Rohn. Anything on Jim Rohn, I would read that. Anything on Darren Hardy, I would read that. And I have several mentors, and none of them are broke. Okay, I ain't got no broke mentors. All right, hey, my mentor is not Uncle Willie. All right, my mentor is not Aunt Susie. Okay, my mentor ain't none of my broke family members. All right, those are not my mentors. All right, love your family members, love your aunts and uncles and all that sort of a thing. But when it come down to you making your decisions of what you're going to do for some generational wealth, you better talk to somebody that's got some money. Okay, you better talk to somebody that's already organized, who already got it going on. It is not my job to make you feel good, unless you feel good about doing right. Then, amen. But most of what I'm telling you is going to take a mind shift, and it's going to take some different kind of discipline than what you've had before. Just filling this out every week is going to require discipline. All right. Filling in your daily plan of your journal every day is going to require discipline. You are not used to doing it. Okay. So get books that help you become disciplined. And The Compound Effect is one of those great books. It says it takes about 21 days before anything becomes a habit. So if you mess up in the middle of doing this, don't stop. Just start again the next day. But I'm telling you right now, the people who follow instructions are the ones that make plenty money and are the ones that are able to leave money to their children's children. So once again, in the personal section, my first recommendation is that you get The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, DarrenHardy, and read all 6 chapters this first week. Okay, that's my recommendation to you. In fact, my recommendation to you is that you read his book a minimum of 8 times. All right, a minimum of 8 times, and take notes while you're reading the book. There is no studying without notes. Okay, and write your notes down on a piece of paper, because you retain 25% more of the information that you write down versus what you put on a computer, on a calculator. So write the notes down. Watch this video 3 or 4 different times. Okay, every time you study something, study it at length. Study it. Don't look at it and then think you got it, because you don't have it. Okay, go back over it and go back over it and go back over it. Don't read 20 books this year. Just every time you get a book, read it several times. All right, you don't need to know about a lot of stuff. You need to be able to execute some things. This is how you become the CEO of you. All right, that's the whole point of this first exercise. That's why we're not talking about logistics yet. We're talking about how you get organized, because being focused is your #1 issue. Okay, and that's what I'm going to help you do. If you hang out around me, you're going to be a focused individual, and you can hang out around me now because we're doing online training. Okay, so here we go. So that's the first thing I would put over here in personal, the book that you're going to study for this upcoming week. Then secondly, I would put in what you're going to do about your body physically, so that you got some energy, so that you're able to get around. So put down, if you're working out, how many days a week you're working out, how much time you're going to work out. All your goals that you put in every week, they have to be specific. Okay, specific, not Pacific. Boy, that really bothers me when somebody calls specific. Pacific is you're talking about an ocean. Put the S in the word, man. All right, so specifically put down what it is that you're going to do. And if you're going, I don't recommend that you write down you're going to work out 7 days a week if you're not working out at all right now. Okay, I recommend that you put down a couple of days, 3 days maybe at the most, and don't work out for more than an hour. You ain't getting paid to work out. Okay, just make sure that you ain't about to drop dead any second because you are so out of shape, and with high blood pressure and sugar and all the things that comes along with not taking care of your business. How you gonna be a business person? How you gonna be the CEO of you if you can't even breathe? How you gonna be the CEO of you if you can barely walk around? How you gonna be the CEO of you and you don't even have the physical discipline to go sweat? You have to sweat, baby. Okay? You need to sweat the stress off inside of you. Stress is real. All right? You are not living this life without stress. Okay, so since that's a real situation, deal with it. All right, find something that you enjoy doing, or maybe that you don't enjoy doing. Do what you don't feel like until you start feeling like it. All right, this is not a comfortable kumbaya course. This is not a course. So we're singing kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. We do want the Lord to come by here. Don't get it twisted. But what I'm telling you is that you're gonna have to be hard on yourself. People say, don't be so hard on yourself. Okay, all broke people say that. Okay, all broke people tell you don't be hard on yourself. Be hard on yourself. I'm not telling you to beat yourself up. But I am telling you to be disciplined, be focused, and when you fall off the wagon, just get back up, dust yourself off, and keep rolling again, okay? But if you start writing down what you're going to do, and you write down specifically what you're going to do, now you can challenge yourself as to whether or not you got it done. You can challenge you. Write this in your notes. This is called relentless self-examination. Relentless self-examination. All right. If you're going to do good in business, you're going to have to be accountable about what you said. You're going to have to write down things. You're going to have to measure your results. All right. And in order for you to have some consistent success, you're going to have to not be focused on your brother, your mother, your sister, your aunt, or your uncle. You're going to have to grow up, and you're going to have to be focused on what's going on with you. And you're going to have to say, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Me and Mama used to sing that when I was a little boy. Cold duet, bless her sweetheart. She's 87 and still kicking. She's such a blessing, man. She can still blow too. We be harmonizing, having a good time. I should have had her just come on in right now and do a little duet with me, but we got to move on. Okay, here we go. All right, so your personal life. Make sure that you've got Darren's book, and make sure that you've got a regimen for how often you're going to work out and when. All right, put down the amount of water you're going to drink. If you're going to drink some water, if you're going to drink 8 ounces a day, write it down. See, every time you look at your daily plan, it'll remind you of what you need to do. And believe you me, in this unfocused age, you need to have written down what you're going to do. That might sound incredibly elementary. You're like, Rick, come on, man. You know, I can remember what I'm supposed to do. No, you don't. Okay? And you have you have things that's a matter of life and death that you ought to do every day. My father, when he passed away, we went down to Memphis and got my father. And he was dying. You know, my brother and I showed up. He didn't know we were coming. When we showed up, we all just started crying. He was healed from eating intravenously. He was up the next day being able to eat solid food because the love healed him when his 2 boys showed up. But he still had some responsibility. A couple of months later, we brought him back to Chicago to our house. And I remember him mentioning real casually, he said, hey, Rick, you know, I got about 14 medicines, man, that I'm supposed to be taking. He said, I need to get to the VA to get a couple of them because I don't even have them. This is his life, okay? And he shouldn't have let a day go by without having his medicine, you know? And so a couple of days later, he died. He died a couple of days later. May have been avoidable if he had been taking this stuff, because if you're on medication, sometimes you got to take that every single day by the hour, or you're gonna check out of here before your time. So what am I saying? I'm saying, first of all, do your exercising, drink your water, do the things that you need to do to make sure that you are in the best shape you can possibly be in, and don't die or leave out of here early, or don't be sick for no reason. Okay, handle your business, all right, and do it and write down what the regimens are and stick to them every week. All right, we got to move along so we can close out this first module. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is well, actually that's all of the quadrants. That's your personal, that's your financial, and then your distractions are if you don't write down your daily plan, and if you don't write down your journal, if you don't do that, then this exercise is a joke. All right? It's an exercise in futility. You will not keep up with what's going on because you cannot remember 3 or 4 days later what you said you was going to do back then. You'll be able to get everything accomplished that's important to you. Remember, you just want to do a few things really, really good. In our next module, we'll be discussing how you really set up a company and the first steps that you take towards being able to get real estate deals done, how to evaluate deals. We'll be talking about all of that next week in module number 2. You will get a module every single week for a whole 12 months with me because I'm going to work real hard to make sure that you're successful. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. Welcome to the team with Stella Homes and Stella Real Estate Academy. So glad to have you here. We're going to light fire this year. and kick butt and take names. And I'm just so glad to have you on the team. So glad to be here working with you. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. And remember that Stella is as Stella does. See you next week.